Alright guys, so I've decided I'm going to present you guys the full details of my trading strategy just to keep things interesting. So before I was just showing you guys this picture right here, and this shows you the delta of your position. So that's like the instantaneous profit of your position. So what this shows you is what would happen to your profit if price were to move. So obviously in this case, I would prefer price to move up because right now I'm underwater and I would like it to move up. Whereas if it moved down, I'm going to be in drawdown up to a maximum of $379. But this is only half the story. The other half the story is this grid trade right here. So what this is the actual money maker. This is the engine of this strategy. So imagine you've got a cheese grater and you're grating cheese. You're constantly moving the cheese, grinding it along the grater. So what happens is every time you grate the cheese up or down, a little bit of cheese comes out the other side and falls into your plate, filling up your plate. That's what this is. So with every price move that ETH does, we're grating a little bit of profit out of the market. And this profit adds up, and that's permanent profit that we've locked in. Whereas this on the left is a floating profit. This changes as price changes. So if price were to go up, I'd be in profit here. But if I don't close the trade and price were to go back down, I just go back into drawdown. So I've not crystallized that profit up here. Whereas this captures the profit. So the profit that I make from this is permanent. I've taken profits from this. So, but because this position is complicated, so it uses futures, it uses options to hedge, this grid trade isn't free. So there's risk to this. So if the price were to keep moving in one direction or the other, this grater would no longer be adequate and we'd start losing money. So therefore, that's why we need to add things on top like options and futures to hedge our position. And this is the total overall position. And what you want to have happen here is you want the price to keep moving along this grid and crystallizing small profits. And this whole curve will be lifted up as the grated cheese. I love this grating cheese analogy. As this grated cheese fills up your plate, this line is your plate. It's going to keep lifting up and up and up until, say, we made $379 of profits, of locked-in profits. This whole curve will be above water, and everywhere will be green, and you just want to take profits wherever it's most convenient, or you just want to take it wherever you are at that time. But so we've been running this for about 17 days now, almost 18 days, and we've made $108 of profit from this grid trade on an investment of 781. And that doesn't include the options and the futures that I've added, which you can see here. Obviously, this looks quite complicated. This isn't easy to set up, and I've got special tools that help me analyze this position. But that's the gist of how this works. So what I'm trying to do is just make constant profits out of the market because, I mean, guys, this is crypto. The market keeps moving. It keeps bouncing around. And it's like wind energy. If you see the wind keeps blowing, would you not want to install a wind turbine and capture some of that energy? That was my whole rationale for this. And yeah, so the way you use this is you'd let it run for about a month to 6 weeks maximum. Last time I did this, I was able to make a 10 to 15% profit. I think it was closer to 20% actually. I'll have to go check. Let's just call it 15%. So last time I was able to make 15% in a month doing this. But that was, if you look at this rightmost picture, this is the macro picture from the 9th of September to the 30th of June. So that's a good 9 months of history. And that just shows you which area of price movement we're farming for profits. So we kind of want the price to stay in this area. And if it doesn't, we're going to be looking at this red and green picture to see what we're going to do about it. But of course, this was just a choice. Like, I chose to have this, by the way, this big picture right here is the same as this smaller picture right here. This is just me wanting to see the overall macro picture. And this is a choice. The way that this curve, the way that this curve looks, the fact that it's red here and a bit green here and all that, that's a choice that I made. Because I think it's more likely that price will go up rather than down. And I think that it's likely that whilst it does that, it's going to keep grinding in this region. So I want to keep making profits in this region with an overall bullish bias. So yeah, so that's the crux of how this strategy works. And like I said, the last time I was able to make something like, let's just call it 15%, because it fluctuated between 10 and 20% depending on where you would have closed. Because obviously this is the constant money maker, but it also depends on where the price is when you close the strategy. Because if I were to close the strategy here versus here, this will be a more profitable region. So last time it was in the 10 to 20% range. So let's just call it 15% a month that I was able to make. Yeah, and I'm keen to see what this will do over the next couple of weeks. I'll keep you guys posted. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.